They went through, learned about that in Leadership North Fulton. After the class was over, they remained, kept talking about it, pooled their resources, and started the Drake House.
Well, welcome back to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud, Executive Director of Roswell Inc., and I have the privilege today to have Nesha Mason, President, we talked about this, President of Drake House. Nesha, welcome. Welcome to our offices. This is the central hub of tourism and economic development in Roswell, Georgia.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and I'm just privileged to be in the space.
Hey, it's exciting time. We met, about 2 years ago?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
You came on board, and man, Drake House, what a history. What an exciting time. I feel like we're on a rocket, and things are happening. Drake House is a nonprofit and started here in Roswell through Leadership North Fulton, through the Chamber of Commerce.
That's right. That's my favorite part of the history. So 20 years ago, class of 2004.
2004.
Yes. Went through, realized that there was homelessness in North Fulton and that it was disproportionately affecting single mothers and their children. And so they went through, learned about that in Leadership North Fulton. After the class was over, they remained, kept talking about it, pooled their resources, and started the Drake House. Named after Mary Drake, who was at the time a philanthropist, a person who just really was a great neighbor, a great citizen of the community who took care of those who needed a helping hand.
She did. She was great. It's interesting too, growing up here in what I call an affluent neighborhood, suburb of the city of Atlanta. You are always surprised when people say, there's homelessness. And what we've seen, you and I, we experience it, we know that.
Sure.
That has a cost. And it has a cost on our economy. It has a cost on our social status. But more importantly, what it really, really does affect is the families.
Absolutely.
And, if you can't have a place that's safe, that a family can reside, it's hard to get good workers, period. And you add that element on it, it makes it even more difficult. So tell us a little bit about how a person would come to Drake House.
Well, I appreciate that, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak for the families that we serve. Many of the women who come to the Drake House are employed, they're just underemployed. Some of them have gone through life experiences like divorce or sickness, other types of tragedy where they've had to face the difficult choice of keeping their car or their home.
Wow.
And in some situations, they find themselves choosing their car because they can still get kids to school,
That's right.
They can still get to their jobs, and for all intents and purposes, give the appearance of normal, even though at the end of the day, they have no place to lay their head. So we have great partnerships with the school district. The school district, oftentimes, they will recognize before others that a child is going through a circumstance of homelessness, and they will let mom know that there is such a thing as the Drake House and a place where they can go and get back on their feet with a bit of community support. So we often have referrals from either the school or other neighboring nonprofits. North Fulton Community Charities is one of our referral partners.
Love them.
Anybody who is seeing families when they are financially vulnerable and learning of a homeless circumstance will refer them over to the Drake House so that we can see if we can help. And we are specific to single mothers and their children overcoming homelessness.
So talk to us about that. I did know that, and I remember that my good friend Tedra Cheatham.
Yes.
Tedra, I'm going to see you here real soon. We belong to the IEDC, the International Economic Development, and we see each other a couple times a year. And shout out to her and her husband Bill. Great people.
Yep.
She runs economic development for the state of Louisiana, and does a really good job. So that's my shout out to her.
Well, we are really proud that she's a part of the Drake House legacy too.
And
she still stays in the loop of communications. We're really fortunate. There's quite a few of those 2004 North
amazing.
Yes, Leadership North Fulton class members that are still involved in the Drake House. Frida Hardage is one.
Frida,
my predecessor, Kathy Swan. She is another one. So grateful for them and their long-term involvement and just all that they've done to make this Drake House a reality.
Well, see, you nailed something that's very important. Strong, independent women.
Absolutely.
Right? These women that you just named are all women, and I look at it from a father's perspective, right? I've raised 3 daughters here in the city, and they're very fortunate. But they've also been fortunate enough to see that not everybody gets the same fair shake. And Drake House, to me, is one of those, just like North Fulton Community Charities, Child Development Academy, all of those agencies have been part of the fiber that's really made Roswell what it is. And I think it's part of, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but a little bit of preach here is that it's part of what makes Roswell unique, is that everybody puts a hand out and lifts up.
Absolutely. And the way that the nonprofits work together is also a testament to who Roswell is and really the strength of this community. Because we're not working in isolation. We have now a North Fulton Housing Collaborative, for example, where we're all coming together and figuring out how are we supporting these families? How are we leveraging the support that we have from this amazing community to make sure that the families are not just getting a hand up in their time of crisis, but really getting the tools and resources they need to change their circumstance so that they can go from financially vulnerable to stability. What does that look like, and how can we pool our resources together to make it happen?
Well, I remember the first time we met, we were talking about the United Way and the support that they give, and yet United Way is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. I think the uniqueness of Drake House, too, for Roswell is tell us about the properties you all own.
Oh,
I think that's an amazing story.
Yes. So the founders of the Drake House were so thoughtful in the placement and where we were. We have our little cul-de-sac up on Clara Drive.
Yes.
That is our community. And we've been able to expand that community. So we have 16 units that serve as our emergency housing. That's where families come in, where they're able to be in a fully furnished unit. All living expenses are paid and taken care of with the goal that they are saving their money and paying down the debt that created a barrier to them being able to move into market rate housing. We also, right across the cul-de-sac, have 16 units that serve as transitional housing. There, it's just another step toward independent living. They're signing their own lease, they're paying below market rate rent, and paying their own utilities, all of these things in hopes to rebuild their credit history and their rental history. So again, helping them get back on their feet.
It's amazing.
We're so proud of the campus that we have. We have a family service center where we work with the families and they work with their case managers and helping chart that path back to stability. And our youth programming is also housed there, where we're able to provide enrichment programs so that the kids, although they may be going through a circumstance of homelessness, don't miss out on those lovely activities like robotics and Boy Scouts. We have a Boy Scout troop on our campus. Our Cub Scout troop. Yeah. So it's just our little community up on Clara Drive where we are able to pour into families and invite members of the community to come and volunteer and be a part of that pouring to help families get back on their feet.
Well, you mentioned something I think that's really important, volunteering.
Absolutely.
You've got some I know you guys are located right behind Synovus.
Yep.
Everybody knows Synovus at the corner of Holcomb Bridge and Highway 9.
Yeah.
It's the big bank there, but with a small town feel, and they're your neighbors, I know.
Yes, they're amazing neighbors for us, too.
So you get volunteers from organizations like them and others that come in and redo the apartments. You've got 32 apartment units,
We have
right?
32 apartment units. Each of those units is sponsored by what we call a neighbor-to-neighbor partner because it really is just about helping our neighbors get back on their feet. And so each of those neighbor-to-neighbor partners, they pay a fee to kind of help us with some of the apartment maintenance and upkeep. They also furnish the apartments, and they also provide a volunteer that serves as an advocate that walks alongside the family as they're going through this programming because it's a journey.
It is a journey.
So it really is, to me, again, I give all, shout out to all of those who've been involved in the Drake House along the way that put all of these little community inputs and staples in place, because it's another way for families to get the full embrace of the community where they came from. We're serving North Fulton residents.
Right.
And they just, fell on hard times. And so nothing like neighbors helping neighbors get back on their feet. And that's what that is.
Well, and we all know that it takes a village.
Absolutely.
And that can be used in so many ways. It takes the village of the business community, the residents, everybody working together to make sure that, everybody has the opportunities. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I always go up and down Alpharetta Highway, you got a bus stop right there.
That's part of the
pretty
genius.
Amazing,
yes.
right? You got a bus stop. They pick up from MARTA. You've got also Fulton County Schools picks up right there. So
Absolutely.
You've got an opportunity to keep these kids in school.
Absolutely.
Which is, we all know, is vital to their success. Take me back let's go back a step. So there's a crisis. They've found a reason that they need your service.
Sure.
How long till they transition into the next step?
Oh, great question. So our emergency or crisis housing, they can stay for up to 6 months. And again, that's no living expenses. All living expenses are taken care of. You asked about our campus, and one of the things that I didn't mention is that we have a fresh food market that we just opened. So they're able to even go and shop on campus for free. So really, literally being that, we have laundry facilities that they are able to repurpose the dollars that they spend to save up and to pay down debt. So they're able to be there for up to 6 months. We are evaluating their program process every 90 days. Okay. Everybody has an individualized plan that is developed across 5 pillars of their stability.
Okay.
And so we reevaluate that plan every 90 days. They're able to stay there for up to 6 months. If they need a bit more scaffolding and a bit more time, at that time they can move on to the transitional housing, which is called the Drake Village. And that's where, as I mentioned, they're signing their own lease, they're paying their own utilities. It is really focused more on that financial literacy piece, where now we're really putting into practice some of the tools that maybe they gained from our life skills programming at the house. And so they're able to stay at the village for up to 2 years. They're signing a 1-year lease at a time. Right. And again, we're still evaluating program progress every 90 days. And then we have an extended program, because as the price of rent skyrocketed in the last couple of years, we found that although our average clients were increasing their income about 70%, and it still was not enough to afford rent. Wow. So we piloted and have since launched what we call our HOSTA program, which is housing stability. And that is where we're working with families in the career space, career and education, to help increase their credentials so that they can increase their income. And while they are going through that, we're providing some rental supplements that taper over the course of a year, so that when we pull away, they can stay right where they are and be stable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, talk about workforce. A lot of these mothers need jobs.
Absolutely.
So how can we get the word out? People are always looking for good staff.
Oh, right? That is so true.
So how can we help you get that word out?
Well, we are always looking for good employer partners. So we are partnered with several Roswell organizations. So Ryder being one of them. Oh, yeah. DocuFree and Floor and Decor. And we have, and Wellstar, of course.
Wellstar, yeah. Thank you, John Paul.
Yes, shout out to Wellstar. So we have what we call a Professional Women's Career Network, which is kind of our alumni organization, but it is meant to be, it is our career services extended beyond our campus. There's a lot of opportunity for us to partner with employers who are looking for strong, stable employees. The great thing about partnering with the Drake House is that we are there to help make sure that their employment is stabilized, that their employment is successful. If they need some help with maybe childcare, we're there. If they need to be connected with a resource to make sure that they're getting to work, we're there. So a way that businesses can get involved is please reach out. We have a career services department that they can partner with, and definitely looking for living wage employment for our families.
Well, that's well said. Well said. That's very important. And, we'll help share that. We'll make
appreciate
sure that your link is on this broadcast that goes out. What would you like to share? You got the platform right now. You got the mic. We talked about that. What I'd like to share is thank you for your commitment to the people of Roswell.
Well,
because it makes a difference. And let me tell you, when I churn my way through the different communities throughout the state, throughout the Southeast, Roswell's very unique. And I say that because I love Roswell. You know that. But I do know when people's hearts are here, and your heart is in Roswell. So thank you for what you do. What would you like to say to the folks out there?
I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. And I feel very blessed to be a part of this legacy that is the Drake House. I feel blessed to be able to do the work that I do. I'm grateful for this community and all the ways that they support financially through volunteerism. Can't forget about our amazing Drake closets.
That's it. There you go. Bingo, winner.
So our Roswell closet that's located on South Atlanta Street, where people come in, they shop, they donate. We've got our Rockin the Runway fashion show coming up next Tuesday, June 11th. It's actually sold out for the first time.
That's even better.
Yes. So feeling very grateful for all the support that we get from this community. And so I would like to take the opportunity to say thank you and to obviously ask that you guys continue to consider the Drake House as you think about your giving, as you think about your volunteerism, as you clean out your closets, ladies.
An easy thing to do. That makes you feel good all the way around, right?
Exactly. Or even as you're looking for something, that you might want to wear to the next event.
Next ball, that's
right. Check out our Drake closets. But really, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share. I'm grateful for the support of the community and look forward to many more years
there you go. Well,
of
Nesha,
being able to work in this space.
Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
from
you.
Brew Talks, we'll be back to you. As we always say, it's a great day to do business. It's a great day to support Roswell.
Absolutely.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.